what a space is worth. We're going to start this series off on this topic. How much a space, so you have your 9 by 12 or whatever, how much are one of these spaces worth? Like, what is it actually worth? Technically, you could charge whatever you want, but I guess it's only worth what someone will pay, right? I mean, there is no concrete price. This is worth, it's worth whatever you want it to be worth. There's things like postage and printing, and those vary. So it's hard to pin down an actual, this space should cost this much. And your time that's put into it. So what it's worth is really a factor of also how much time and effort you're putting into this. If you're putting a ton of effort and offering a ton of value, the thing is worth more. And people buy when the value of something exceeds the price. They buy when they know they're getting some kind of deal. People don't buy when they don't buy things at the face value. Like, no one buys something at exactly what they think it is worth. They buy when it's a better deal, when it's a bargain. They buy easier, the better bargain it is. So it's your job when you're presenting it, when you're pitching it, closing it, or even just putting things in collateral or mentioning on your website or whatever, it's your job to relay kind of the value, because they're not going to know this. Not every business owner is familiar with direct mail. They don't really know what it costs. They will have wide varying opinions. It is your job to kind of help them calculate this so they can understand that it's well worth, that it's a bargain of whatever you're charging. So there's no complete concrete answer, but I'm going to show you how to relay that better. The number one thing is to have confidence in it yourself. So you have to be sold on the card yourself. Super important. Those of us that sell these ads for really high prices will typically have higher confidence in what we're charging. Like, if you are completely sold on the value yourself, that will emit from you and relay that just naturally to the person buying it. Like, if you are offering a really, really good deal and you're expressing how great of a deal it is and you fully believe it yourself, it's a much easier thing to sell. So sometimes you have to sell it yourself, and that will sell yourself on it, and that I'm going to help you with that too. For reference, I have seen 9 by 12 ads go for on 14 to 16 space cards, like your typical layout of a 9 by 12. I've seen them sold anywhere from like $400 on a 10,000 piece mailer, anywhere from like $400 to just shy of $900. There's that range. The average is somewhere in the $500, $550, but there's some people that sell them in $800, close to $900 each ad, and they get it. So it can be done at these higher levels, and a lot of this the final installment, part 5, you're going to be going through, is helping you get those higher amounts because you deserve it. The real value of these cards are pretty freaking high. No one's going to buy an $800 space or $600 space or $500 space if they think it's only worth that. You have to kind of make it worth more than what you're going to sell. So if you decide to sell your ads for $500, you're going to need to portray a value of $750, $1,000. The more that they understand how much this is really worth, the easier it is for them to kind of do a mental calculation that, oh, this is a really good bargain. So in this range of 400 is really low for a 10,000 piece mailing. For 5,000 piece mailings, just split those in half. You should be getting anywhere from like $250 to $500 per space for a 5,000 piece mailing. Double that for 10. A card this size. Oh, I'm going to show you because I have Scott Meisner's cards too, but just for reference, these big. I just love these things. He sent me a whole bunch of them. I mean, he's done a ton of these. They're 11 by 14s, but I just gotta share these with you because these are all different cards that he's done, but these things are so big. Really doesn't matter. For him, he just got so many clients, and he's putting out a guide too to show you how to do it. That'll be out soon. That he needs that extra space, but look at those freaking things compared to 9 by 12. Don't worry, 9 by 12 is fine too. To mail one of these things, these are called flats. So they're in the post office terms, they're called flats. Flat rate envelopes. They take 2 stamps to mail. If you were to mail one of these, stick a stamp on it, send it to someone, 2 stamps. Even a smaller size, even 6.5 by 9, takes 2 stamps. It's a big postcard. So a stamp is 55 cents right now. So that's $1.10. Even if you get these at bulk rate postages, they're upwards of $1 each just in postage. So sending 10,000 of these postcards, you're looking at $7 to $10,000, depending on what rate of postage you use to mail these, just in postage alone. People do that every single day. There's thousands of campaigns across America that get printed and mailed out every day at those rates. $10,000, upwards of $10,000 just in postage. That's not the printing. Printing these big cards with nice glossy papers and thick stocks is expensive as well. So as a business owner, if you were to go just find someone to do a big postcard mailing to 10,000 people, you are looking at spending $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 on one campaign. If that gives you an idea, and hopefully that helps sell yourself, that offering $500 or even $800 per space is a hell of a lot cheaper and a huge bargain compared to $10,000, which is the reality of what these things will cost. Now, through the course, I show you how to get the cheapest printing. I provide you really cheap printing. It's going to be cheaper than anyone could get anywhere else. The postage is really low because you're using the EDDM program. You're doing all these things, and if you're using a permit, it's even cheaper. You're doing all these things, plus you're doing all the hard work by grouping people together, and you're just basically getting the costs knocked down to really, really low levels, and you're pocketing the difference. But every single person is contributing. So everyone is getting this really good deal because you're doing the work. You're doing all the hard work. You're putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. I've always liked that. I use this term a lot, and there's going to be a later lesson where I'm going to show you how to sprinkle terms like this in. Businesses like little cafes and little pizzerias and little boutique stores, little toy shop, all these businesses that people put a lot of their heart and soul in, and they're little shops. They're everywhere. They're not supposed to be able to get a 10,000 piece mailer like that. They would never be able to afford $10,000. At most, maybe they can do a 1,000 piece mailer, and they'd have to figure out all the moving parts. They're not supposed to take advantage of 10,000 pieces or 5,000 pieces. So you are giving those businesses an opportunity to take advantage of something they'd never be able to take advantage. Like the small single mom and pop business thing, little family business, will never have $10,000 to do a mailing campaign. It'll never happen. You're giving them that opportunity. It's amazing. 10 years now I've been doing it. It still blows my mind that you could, and if you're advertising yourself, that you get it for free, but that for $500 or even $1,000. So you can see if someone wanted to charge $800, it's a bargain when you put it in that perspective. And you tell the business owner, look, you would never be able to swing $10,000 probably to send out a big postcard to 10,000 people. Like that would be just way out of your range. Now you can do it. It's $500. If you put it in a perspective like that, the bargain becomes evident and it becomes just way more easy to sell. So hopefully that helps you kind of sell yourself and also be able to more sell your prospects and your clients on what a freaking good deal this is. I would say when you think about the cost of sending one of these, or it doesn't even have to be this big, but even like a 6.5 by 9, you're talking close to $1 a piece. A really good deal would be somewhere in the range of $0.25 a piece, which would be still quite a bit. That's $2,500 for one ad. So when you're offering it for 10 cents each, which would be $1,000 per ad, it's a bargain. When you put it in that perspective, it's a bargain. You run into the problem though that people aren't always willing to spend. Maybe they're sold on it. They understand, oh, this makes sense. I can get $10,000 worth of advertising for $1,000, but they don't always have $1,000 to spend. Like they don't just have $1,000 sitting there waiting to be spent. So you run into that problem. Sometimes you can justify the value, totally fine, but you can't actually collect the money. Or you'd have to put them on some kind of payment plan or something, which you may not even get paid. Runs into an affordability issue. Don't worry, I got you covered. So even if you want to sell these things for $700, $800, $900, $1,000, in the next couple lessons, I'm going to show you how to get that kind of money and make it affordable. Hope that helps. Let's go to the next lesson.